guys, so today I am going to be sharing with you some of our favorite items and things that we used in our spring homeschooling semester. So this is my spring homeschooling favorites. If you're new here, I used to do these monthly and then I didn't have as many ideas every month, so I decided to do them quarterly. So this is just a wrap up of everything that we really loved in the spring semester. And I'll do another one of these at the end of the summer, sharing some of our favorite homeschooling items or just things that we used to continue learning in the summertime. So if you have a homeschooling favorites video from this month or this semester, link it in the comments below and I will add it to the playlist. So I'm gonna get started. So the first thing I'm gonna share are these learning resources, sights and sounds buzzers. These were fun, they were inexpensive. I think they were around $20. We used these to play a lot of review games, like Jeopardy style games. And because they're each a different sound, you can tell who hit the buzzer first. They don't link together, so whereas like only one of them will light up if somebody hits it first, but you can always tell by the sound who hit it first if you're not looking. But they also light up in color as well. So we really liked these. They were quite annoying at times, but they did add a really great level of excitement to our homeschool for the spring semester. Next, I'm going to share these. Now, this box, this Phonics reading library from Usborne, it's called My First Reading Library. These are progressive readers, so they start out with an I read, you read type of book right here at the beginning. I'll show you the inside here. And they progress. Each book gets a little bit more difficult until you get to almost like beginning style chapter books. I'll show you the very last one here. Not chapter books specifically, but just longer readers here, preparing them for beginning chapter books. So I love these. We've only started with these. This is really probably going to also be on my summer favorites, but I got these for my son. He just finished All About Reading Level 2 and he did really well with it. But because the books, all of the readers for that are in just 2 or 3 bound books, I don't think he felt like he was getting very far every time he'd finish a book, because it was just, you know, you'd finish like 10 pages, but then essentially it feels like you just finished a chapter. So with these, he's reading on his own during our quiet reading time in the afternoons. He's picking them up on his own, which is making me really excited. He's reading them out loud. I'm not even there to listen to him, but when I pass by his room, I can hear that he's reading them. So these are giving him confidence. They're getting a little bit more difficult with each book, but it hasn't fazed him yet because it's not such a big jump. And when he finishes each book, he closes the book and he's finished a complete book. So this has been really good for him. So this book, Jesus Calling for Kids, was our devotional this semester and I'm loving it. Before we had more time with my husband to do individual devotionals in the morning, I would take Bella, he would take the boys, and we would kind of split off when he used to go to work later in the morning. Now he goes pretty early in the morning, and so we do one all together at dinner time. So this is what we've been using. On occasion, this would go in our morning basket if we were going to be out for dinner or something like that. That's why I'm including it in our homeschool. I know a lot of you do devotions in your homeschool, so I really like this. I've not read Jesus Calling for adults, but this Jesus Calling for Kids is really great, and all of my kids are able to comprehend, you know, between the ages of 4 and 9. They're all able to understand what's in here, and I really like the message in here, but that's personal, so totally up to your family, but I really like that devotional. That was one of our favorites. This book, What a Wonderful Word, has been great for my daughter. She's the kind of girl who just always wants to be reading something. If she has 5 minutes, she wants to read. If she has 25 minutes, she wants to read. If we're gonna be in the car for 3 hours, she wants to read. So this one is great. Each page shows a different word that cannot be translated to any other language, which is really cool. So she can just read one of these, you know, in a quick little 5-minute session here. Not gonna be able to pronounce that. So let's see, friolero in Spanish, someone who is always cold. And then there's a bunch of information on Spain in there, but it's just, there's no other word that means someone who is always cold in another language. Or let's see, a French word for the happiness of being reunited with somebody after a long time apart. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. Then there's information down there. It's just fun because Let's see, a Thai word that means a spirit of selfless generosity and kindness, a willingness to make sacrifices for friends that extend hospitality to strangers. What's fun about this book is it really gets them thinking, because you'll take, for example, there was, I think one of the first words was a Swedish word that means to wake up early in the morning so you can go outside to hear the first birds singing. And I was thinking, like, there's gotta be a word in English that means the same thing, but there's not. There are phrases, but there's no exact matching words. So this was a cool one for her that's gotten her brain moving a little bit, because I know that as she's sitting there thinking like, oh, there's gotta be a word for that. So that's a fun book, just a different kind of a book versus a storybook. These have been great this semester. These are, what are they called? These are only like $5 at Michael's. Artist Loft, yes, Artist Loft sketchbooks. We use these for our nature study, and we're going to continue to use them for our nature study because they're not even a quarter of the way filled up. But they are hard copies. They're, you know, already bound. They're only $5, and then there's space inside for them to do their nature journaling. So that's been cool. I like those because I do bind a lot of stuff on my own, but I feel like our nature journals are going to be something that I'm going to want to keep forever. And so those are already bound, they're already together, and they're already really pretty as is. So they're already ready to be a keepsake. This is a game, it's not an educational game, it's totally just a game, but because it's giant, my preschooler has really enjoyed playing this with us. And so we brought it into our school a little bit. This has helped him with like quick number and color recognition. I know he's 4, he knows his colors already, but having to match quickly, because my kids kind of want to play quickly, has been great for him. So if you guys like games in your house, I suggest this giant Uno. This has been really fun for school, fun for just a little break in our, between books. Sometimes between subjects, we'll sit on the floor for 10 or 15 minutes and we'll build blocks or something that keeps them engaged, but gives them a little break. So that's a great one for that. So I mentioned that I bind a lot of material at the end of the school year. I bind our portfolios together. I bind certain schoolwork together. I bind their artwork together. I bind their loose leaf nature journaling pages. So I'm gonna bring this back out. This is my ProClick binding machine. This is a favorite that I know I shared a couple of years ago, but it becomes my favorite once again at the beginning and the end of each school year when I'm using it the most often. You just put pieces of paper in here and you run this along. It gives all of the pages the holes that you need to just click together, the spines that you can buy along with this, and they're really simple. It's super easy, it's not electronic, it's just really nice and efficient. So I really like this, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space on my shelf. Poetry tea time was something that we really struggled to stay on top of during the spring semester. We just had a lot going on. We definitely did a lot better in the fall semester. But I do subscribe to Tea Time magazine, so I wanted to share that with you because I love to bake, and I know that a lot of you love to bake. And so doing a poetry tea time and pulling out Chips Ahoy cookies may really work for some people, but for me, that's just not inspiring because the poetry doesn't necessarily excite me. It really is the time together. I hope that one day I'll really appreciate the poetry so that I can convey that to my kids, so it's something they'll be excited about too. But right now for me, it's really more about the tea time that gets me motivated. So I love subscribing to this magazine because it gives a lot of really beautiful recipes, ideas for tea pairing, and my daughter loves to bake with me as well, so this kind of gives us a little bit of time together before we have a poetry tea time as well, and it keeps me motivated. And you guys know in homeschool that if you're not motivated, it's really hard to make something enjoyable or special. So I really wanted poetry tea time to be an exciting thing for my kids. And so in order to kind of get my heart into it as well, Tea Time magazine was one of my favorites. And then I have a couple more things to share here. It's no secret that we had a rough spring semester. I shared it. I'll share the video up here in the corner where I explain just kind of like that feeling of wanting to quit. And that happened to me really early this year. And I almost felt like until the very last 6 weeks or so of school, I was just on like I was in a homeschooling slump. Probably the worst I've experienced yet in homeschool. It doesn't happen like every single year per se. I mean, every year I want to finish the school year by the time we get toward the end of the spring semester, but I don't usually wrestle with just not finding motivation. And I definitely struggle to find motivation at the end of this school year. So one of the things that we pulled back out, which is something that we hadn't done since the summer prior, was our library reading nights. So on the days that I take my kids to the library, I put all of our books out on the schoolroom floor and I pop popcorn in our popcorn machine and we just sit there and read the books and eat popcorn. And I know a lot of people like popcorn in a movie, but for our family, popcorn and library books has become a tradition that I just cherish. And so we brought it back out at the end of the semester and it was always really encouraging and a really sweet time together. So that's one of my favorite memories and one of our favorite traditions that I'm hoping to remember to carry on through the summer. And then the other thing that really uplifted me anytime that I needed a little bit of motivation or encouragement was the Wild and Free podcast, which I didn't start listening to that until probably November of last year. I'd never heard of it until then. But now every time that I see a new one come up, I just open it up right away, because no matter where I am, no matter what stage of life or homeschool we're in, or even if they're talking about preschool, but I'm really struggling more with my elementary schoolers, this podcast has been really uplifting, really encouraging, and it takes me back to the basics, like, oh yeah, okay, that's what it's all about. So I really enjoy the Wild and Free podcast. And I'm gonna leave you guys here with a review of a planner that was sent to me that I'm really excited about using in the next school year. So this is the Academic Year Planner by Inkwell Press, and it is gorgeous. The packaging it came in was beautiful too. So if you guys are looking for a planner for the upcoming school year, this is a great option for you. The nice thing is it goes along with the academic year. So it starts in July and then ends the following summer instead of starting in January. I feel like a lot of times having to start a new planner in January when it really is the middle of our school year is a little bit frustrating, because then I have to get used to a new system if I buy a different planner, etc. I will still use my homemade planning sheets for our school, but this is just for activities, social calendar, etc. So I really like this. So it does come with an online videos that help you set up your planner, which is great. And then what I really like, there's some plan ahead pages, but I really like these goals and quarterly goals and breakdowns. I think it's a really neat system here for moms and homeschool moms for planning, or even college students. This would be great. And it also comes with this little bookmark, which is really helpful. Has these top 5 and some notes for each month. And then this is fun, a mission board for each month, which I think is really neat. Something I wouldn't have thought of, but I appreciate having pages to fill in like this for myself. I just never take the time to do things like that. And then this is probably my favorite part. It's this daily habit tracker. So you can put different habits that you want to accomplish, and then you can fill them in according to the number of days in the month. This is really neat over here if you want to plan meals or activities, if you have maybe 3 different kids. So a section there for notes. Weekly focus down there. Then all the way through the month. And then this is really cool. So it's got this, I can't remember what it's called, but that grid style, what is that called? I can't remember now. Like the math sheet, you know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Graphing paper? I don't know. For notes and ramblings. So I think that's really cool too. And then on to the next month. So I love the layout of this. I love the concept. I think it really gives moms, especially homeschooling moms or super busy moms, great opportunity to keep everything organized in one place. So I'm going to be using this upcoming school year. The back here is really neat as well. There's a gift list, who you're shopping for, ideas, the item purchased. Project planning is super cool. Brainstorming areas. Again, I'm a note taker, but I take notes on like a million different pieces of paper and then I lose them. There's a monthly bill tracker. How cool is that? And then, oh, there's the graphing paper. So it's pretty cool there. I don't know what that other paper was called. Then you just have more space to write in here, whatever you need, and then a little folder in the back here, and a little pocket in the back here as well. I'm going to put a a link in the description box below for Inkwell Press. They have all sorts of different planners beyond just academic planners. They have menu planners and things along those lines. So it's not an affiliate link, it's just a link to their website. So I hope you go check them out if you are looking for a new planner. So that's that. Those are my homeschooling favorites from the spring semester. If you guys have favorites to share but you don't have a YouTube channel, leave them in the comments below and just tell me what some of your favorite items or memories were from your spring homeschooling semester. If you do have a channel or a blog and you want to share that, leave those in the comments below and I will add the YouTube videos to the playlist. So I will see you guys soon. Bye.